Hello my friends and welcome to the channel. Now as soon as I saw these new images of the BYD Dolphin, well, not just its exterior but its interior, I was quite impressed. Now I'm actually going to buy one of these vehicles here in Australia when they arrive at the end of this year in 2021. And honestly, I'm really interested to see what they look like inside, because I'd seen a lot of photos of the outside but not of the inside. To me, this car looks pretty good on the inside for its price. It's priced at around about 30,000 Australian dollars. For this model specification that I'm about to share with you, around about 30,000 Australian dollars, which would be around about 23,000 US dollars, maybe around about 16,000 pounds. Because, as you know, BYD are also going to sell their vehicles in the UK. Exciting news for you guys in the UK. It's going to give you a lot more options for affordable vehicles. Now, obviously, you guys have the MG ZS EV, which is right now the second most popular EV in Australia, second to the Tesla Model 3. But obviously, adding the BYD EA1 at an even lower price point is going to make EVs available to even more people. And that is what really excites me about this car. Now, if you didn't already know, the BYD EA1 has now been called the BYD Dolphin. And the Dolphin is a new compact electric car. It's similar in size in its interior to a Toyota Corolla, but it's much shorter on the outside because it doesn't have that big, long engine bay. The front of the car is much more compact, so you're utilizing the car's space so much better than a traditional ICE engine vehicle. Now, I honestly think it's pretty stylish, and it's going to be the first BYD vehicle to have BYD's new logo. Now, BYD has just released some pictures of the Dolphin's interior, and I think it looks even better than the outside of the car. The three-spoke steering wheel, as you can see, has a cool and very sporty shape, and the freestanding digital instrument panel is quite compact, and I think it's a huge improvement and a huge step up, this interior versus the old BYD hatches interior, which really looked pretty old and dated and really not that nice. It's a huge improvement over that one. Now, as you can see, the Dolphin's exterior design is characterized by sharp creases on the sides and a more rounded front. The bonnet is very short, making it look a bit like an MPV, which I actually love that about it. I hate how cars like, say, the Mazda 3 has an enormously long bonnet. It looks as though the bonnet is as long as the rest of the car. It's just an enormous amount of wasted space. Now, the two-tone color scheme on this car, I don't like at all. I'm hoping that I have a choice to just get one color across the car. I'm not a fan of these fads of having two-tone colors and different colored roofs and different colored bodies. I just like one color on my cars. What about you? If you were going to get one of these cars, what color would you get? And would you get the two-tone or would you get a single color? Let me know in the comments. Now, BYD calls the design language marine aesthetics, and it will be used on a series of new semi-premium electric cars coming from BYD, of which the Dolphin is the first. Now, there's obviously the Tang, which is BYD's sort of mid-sized SUV. And there's also the BYD Han, which is BYD's kind of larger size sedan. And there's the BYD Xtreme, which is their smaller SUV. All of those vehicles will eventually be coming to Australia. And I personally believe sort of Selector, the drive selector, which is a good thing. You don't need it really. All you need is a reverse, neutral, and drive buttons, which is what it has there. And you can also see it has two cup holders and a wireless charging pad for your phone. Now, a really kind of quirky and interesting design feature is the center tunnel, which has sort of a gap that goes underneath it. A little bit like the center tunnel in some sports cars have this feature. It sort of flows upwards to the rear. And I think maybe the designers wanted to make it look a little bit like a Dolphin. If so, it works, but I'm not really so sure about calling it the Dolphin. I'm not a big fan of the BYD Dolphin. I'd prefer EA1. Guys, what do you prefer, EA1 or Dolphin? Which one would you go with? Now, the front seats come in different colors, and they're made of a mixture of leather and fabric. Well, that's what BYD says. And the door panels are fabric only. Personally, I think the seats look okay. They're nothing special. I'm not a fan of the one with the green stitching on it. I think that looks a bit try-hard. But honestly, for the kind of price this car is, the seats look pretty good. And even the door handle looks quite nice. This is a budget hatch. And BYD, I think, have gone to quite a bit more effort than what they have previously in terms of getting these little interior touches to look much nicer. And that door handle looks quite nice. And I think it does, to some degree, make me think of marine life. So to summarize, my friends, the BYD EA1 Dolphin, for its price point, looks pretty good inside. I quite like it. I like the fact that it has an LCD screen both in the center of the car, quite a large one. It looks like it might be about a 12-inch LCD screen. And then also for the driver's display, it has an LCD screen, which is a smaller one. Makes a lot of sense. Almost like having a little heads-up display. I think for the price point, the interior looks really, really good. This car is going to sell like crazy. Let's be honest, it's a good-looking car inside and out. Not the best-looking car, but the reason for that is, of course, that BYD are trying to make a vehicle that is both practical and logical. It makes sense. Do you want to have a car that has overhangs that do nothing for you? You just have to park them, right? Like a big, long engine bay when you don't need to? No, it doesn't make sense, does it? This car is much smaller in terms of length than a Toyota Corolla, but its interior actually is going to be bigger. Really, really impressive, and I love that about it. Now, to summarize this base model, this is the base model. It will come with a single motor with around about 95 horsepower or 70 kilowatt. It'll have a 160 kilometer an hour top speed and a range of probably around about 400 kilometers on the NEDC cycle with a 45 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now, the battery pack, of course, will be lithium iron phosphate, the lithium blade battery, and it'll be the same battery pack currently in BYD's T3 van. So for the price point, I think it's an excellent, excellent car. I honestly think millions of people would be interested in buying one of these right now if they had access to one. Now, of course, there will be also two other models. There will be a mid-range model, which will have more power and more range, a larger battery pack. And there will be like a hot hatch version, which BYD say will do 0 to 100 or 0 to 60 miles an hour, potentially in around about 4 seconds. So it'll be faster than almost every other hot hatch on the market right now. And I'm talking about the ICE hot hatches, which are, of course, using dinosaur juice. They're old school. This is new school. This is cooler. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.